Hello there, I appreciate you joining me today. This is Esther at Stampin' Style Creations with a global stamping video hop. And this month's theme is must try card trends. Is that right? Hold on, let me just check. I was right. And I'll be using the Gorgeous Leaves stamp set with the matching intricate dies and the watercolour paper, which I've just chopped in half. Using this splodgy stamp from the Gorgeous Leaves stamp set and putting it in my Stamparatus. And I'm going to be doing the slappy Stamparatus technique. I don't know what the technical name for it is. I saw it a good few years ago when the Stamparatus first came out. So inking up in crushed curry and using my spritzer. I put a little arrow at the top so I know what direction it's going to spray, and you literally slap it down onto the paper and it gives this lovely kind of splattered effect. Now this is a splatter stamp anyway, so it's going to give you that effect, but I'll show you later on when I do it with the leaves later. Coming in with pumpkin pie and not doing an entire ink up, but just partial inking, spritzing about 5 to 7 times, and again just splat it down. You want a nice kind of splatter happening with the colours. So I made the brave move of lifting off my stamp and turning it around so that I had a more of a kind of circular splatter shape with my work. This time going in with some cinnamon cider and again just partially inking up. Now at this point it's probably a bit too soggy and it's got lots of water on it, and maybe I shouldn't have gone for that last splatter. I could have left it as it was, but there we go, we work with what we've got, and sometimes we don't know how things are going to turn out. I've chosen these 2 leaves and I'm going to go and ink them up with Cherry Cobbler and Old Olive. I thought I wanted a nice contrast to my orange background. Same technique, spritzing and splatting. And whoa, look at that. I love the look of this. I love the extra splatters around the edge. I'm going to go in for a second hit and I'm going to turn my page around and we're just going to see if we can get a second impression out of that. I love this one even more. With this you can actually see the veins from the stamp as well, so a bit less water on my stamps. I'm not very patient when it comes to watercolouring, so yeah, heat tool's going on to dry this. So coming in with cinnamon cider, and I wanted to create a background, not really feeling it. But you've got to remember that this is going to be the background, so it's going to get covered up and added to anyway, so I just carry on and just trust that process. Coming in these rather cute leaves in the set, I really like these, just turning them each time I stamp so that it looks a bit more of a natural falling leaves look. Then adding some water into my ink to make a palette, and I'm just inking around the edge of my paper to give myself a border. I was hoping it'd be wet enough to then tear, but it was jolly difficult, and the water hadn't soaked all the way through, and I managed a tiny tear and I just gave up, and I thought, right, I'm just going to distress it with my scissors instead. It was just too difficult. It was quite strong paper. So then bringing out the dies and having a look to see what fits where. Sometimes you've got to get used to what dies do, what bits they cut out and how they work. But, you know, don't be scared to experiment, to mix and match the way you might cut things. And, you know, you might get slightly different looks depending on how you cut them. So with this particular one, I'm using the large intricate die, and I wanted to cut out the shape of the smaller leaf. And this worked quite well, I thought. So you've still got the shape of the leaf, but you've got those bits then cut out. So adding another leaf and these tree branches that I'm using as more like twigs. And I felt like the yellow had got lost in my page, so adding that lovely spotty stamp that's in the set to add some crushed curry. Then just laying down my twigs in position and then adding the leaves on top of those. Using dimensionals to add dimension to my work, and on the leaf that's snuck down at the bottom. So I needed a bit of a border behind this, and I wanted to stand out against my background. So I'm using some very vanilla cardstock and embossed it with that lovely textured emboss and then just coming back in with the crumb cake to highlight the area that had embossed from the folder. It would look quite plain against the background of the work that I just done, so again I'm just distressing it so it carries on that look, and I think it's much better. I realised that I hadn't actually auditioned other colours, so I'm trying out pumpkin pie, too bright, pale papaya, too pale, sauce no go. So I've just come back to my cherry gobbler. Sometimes it's worth auditioning different colours. So going ahead and sticking those down and bringing on some very vanilla baker's twine, which comes in a mixed pack. You get some other neutral colours, and doing a double bow with this just so that it will stand out as a feature and it makes the bow a bit stronger. Now these lovely brushed metallic embellishments that are in the new mini catalogue 2021, and I'm even chucking in a bronze one there. I just think, you know, it's quite an eclectic look. That corner was really bugging me that I'd torn, and my eye kept being drawn to it, so I'm just rolling it up to make a feature of it and thinking maybe I could add a little bee. I happened to have a coloured one that I was experimenting with, and it was red. I just fiddle around to see where best to put it. Last minute I nearly swapped my decision, but there we go, we stuck it in amongst the leaves, and I just thought it's kind of like a hidden gem. I hope you enjoyed today's card and give this kind of slappy technique a go. It's really fun, but you just got to let go of your OCD and just see where it takes you. Thank you so much, and please don't forget to hop along with the rest of the videos and to see what everyone else has done with this must try card techniques. And if you're not already a subscriber, I always appreciate a subscribe and a thumbs up for the video. Comments always welcome.